In this grand, ominous finale, the BetterHelp controversy ascends to an almost operatic crescendo, where the stakes aren't just about privacy or data, but about the very soul of therapy itself. The catastrophic collision of profit-driven tech with the human fragility of mental health care. What began as a mere alternative to traditional therapy is now revealed as a carefully masked data harvesting machine running on the fuel of our most intimate and painful experiences. BetterHelp doesn't just exploit a gray area, it bulldozes right through ethical boundaries, leaving behind a trail of violated trust and corporate deceit. The Federal Trade Commission's accusations were not merely an admonishment but a nuclear strike, exposing that BetterHelp had not just flirted with ethical lines, but had obliterated them. Patient privilege, once the sacred cornerstone of therapy, was sacrificed on the altar of third-party data sharing. A therapist is supposed to be a sanctuary, a place where the confessions of our brokenness remain locked away, unseen by the greedy gaze of corporate profit. But here we have BetterHelp, cynically commodifying human suffering for ad revenue, giving our mental health to Facebook, Pinterest, and Snapchat to dissect and use in their own shadowy algorithms. The paltry settlement, $7.8 million refunded to 800,000 users, felt like a slap in the face, a grim reminder that in the eyes of such corporations, we are mere numbers, our pain reduced to $10 each. But what is $10 compared to the magnitude of this breach? It's the emotional equivalent of being handed a band-aid after a mortal wound. In the grand scheme, this is not about money, it's about the erosion of trust, trust in therapy, trust in confidentiality, trust in the systems that are supposed to protect us. And yet, as the video aptly points out, there was no apology, no real admission of guilt from BetterHelp, just a cold, bureaucratic shrug, as if saying, "This is business." They may have been forbidden from sharing sensitive data for retargeting in the future, but the damage was already done. The mask had slipped, and the world had seen the grotesque face beneath. Yet the storm was far from over. The fallout from this monumental violation began spreading like wildfire. The very influencers who once enthusiastically promoted BetterHelp, these so-called bastions of authenticity on YouTube, began to feel the heat, facing backlash from their own audiences. BetterHelp's reputation was not merely tarnished, it was eviscerated. Its name became synonymous with deception, exploitation, and the commercialization of our most vulnerable moments. And then, as if things couldn't get worse, we discover that BetterHelp's parent company, Teladoc, was itself hemorrhaging, its stock plummeting over 97%, clinging desperately to financial life. Their recent surge in aggressive marketing wasn't a victory lap, but the panicked gasp of a corporation drowning in its own incompetence. Quarter after quarter, BetterHelp's user base dwindled, the exodus unstoppable, a bleeding wound that no amount of slick advertising could bandage. What makes this unraveling truly chilling is that BetterHelp's very business model is predicated on commodification of mental health, of personal trauma, of data. They claim to be a cheaper, more accessible alternative to in-office therapy, but that claim is built on lies and illusions. The features they boast about, messaging, video calls, and phone calls, are hardly revolutionary. Traditional therapists offered these services long before BetterHelp existed, especially in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, when teletherapy became the norm. The supposed benefits BetterHelp flaunts are nothing more than empty marketing ploys, smoke and mirrors designed to lure in users while concealing the hollow core beneath. And this core, it's rotten. Not just flawed, not just in need of tweaking, rotten. Their marketing, while cunningly seductive, leads users to believe they are entering a legitimate therapeutic relationship, when in reality they are stepping into a profit-driven ecosystem where the primary aim is scaling, not healing. Even their own website admits that BetterHelp may not be suitable for all mental health needs, slyly positioning themselves as the alternative while failing to deliver on their promises. At its heart, BetterHelp is not about therapy, it's about data. It's about growth at all costs, even if those costs include violating the sacred trust between therapist and patient. In a particularly cutting revelation, the video points to BetterHelp's priorities as exposed by a chilling comment from Teladoc's CFO. "We have scale, and I expect us to continue to grow and drive efficient returns and cash flows." This comment cuts to the bone of what BetterHelp is truly about: money, power, and domination of the market. They don't seek to provide quality care, they seek to monetize human suffering in the most efficient way possible. In the end, the bitter irony is inescapable. BetterHelp doesn't need to be bigger, it needs to be better. Yet, as the video concludes, there's little hope of redemption. The company's foundation is built on sand, on exploitative practices, and a philosophy that reduces mental health care to just another service to be sold. Even if they were to rebrand, to try and shed the tainted name, they would still be what they are: a for profit corporation that views its users as commodities, not individuals in need of care. The final nail in the coffin is the sobering realization that BetterHelp isn't even a good idea poorly executed. It's a bad idea perfectly executed. In the digital age, we've allowed tech companies to infiltrate even the most sacred and personal aspects of our lives. Therapy, once a private, confidential experience, has been transformed into a product, a commodity to be bought, sold, and traded. BetterHelp is the epitome of this nightmarish shift, and no amount of rebranding or corporate spin can change the fact that they've irreparably broken the trust they sought to build. The commodification of mental health isn't just dangerous, it's dystopian. And as we watch BetterHelp flail in the wake of its own self-inflicted wounds, we are forced to ask ourselves, is this the future of therapy? Will we continue to allow the tech industry to exploit our pain for profit, or will we draw a line reclaiming the sanctity of mental health care before it's too late? BetterHelp has not built a single bridge, they've burned them all.